Hi, I'm Dahl, and today we're going to go over some basics of plotting in Scilab. And so we can go Start and then look for Scilab in the search box. There it is. We'll click on it. And this is just really useful to know if you want to plot functions or do some data points. So we're going to look at both. So first of all, let's look at plotting some points. So let's make an x vector. And our x is equal to, and these are just our data points we're putting in here, and I'm just putting in some random ones, but you can put your real data points in. And so the syntax is x equals bracket, and then you put in your data points separated by commas, and another bracket to close, and then you can put a semicolon to suppress the output and hit enter. So here we have our x, and we want to see that, so we're going to go applications, click on that, and variable browser. And here we have our x variable, and it's 1 by 6, which means we have 6 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, we're good there. So now we're going to do our y variable. So let's do y is equal to, and we'll just do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Again, suppress. We can do that, and we'll hit enter. And here is our y variable. The most important thing to remember here is that the length of our y, which is 6 variables, and the length of our x, which also has 6 elements in it, need to be the same length. This is just because when you plot a point, you have a point that has an x coordinate and a y coordinate, and so this x coordinate corresponds to this y, and this one to this one, and so forth. And when you plot something in a 2D graph, you need an x and y coordinate. So let's do plot now. We do plot, and then x comma y. You don't need to use x and y. If you don't want to, you can call them something else, but I just did that for convenience. And so we'll hit enter. And we'll wait for our graph to appear here. And there it is, so that's looking good. And now let's add a title. We'll make it a little bit fancier. So we'll title, and then this is the syntax, and then we just put in what we want it to be called in here. So let's say my title. And I'll suppress with a semicolon again and hit enter. There it appears. Perfect. So now let's do x label. And we'll just call that, oops, I'll just back up there, x-axis. So there's our x label, it appeared, looking good, and our y label now. And we'll just call that y-axis. And we'll see that appear here. Yep, looking good. So now you kind of know the basics of plotting data points, and just make sure these are the same length, and you can just substitute in your data points. It can be longer or shorter or whatever. So now let's look at something else. Let's look at plotting functions, and we'll just do a clear screen. There we go. Yep, we want to clear it, and you don't need to do that, it just kind of clears it up a little bit. So again, we're gonna look at something different now. We'll just close that. So let's look at x. X is equal to, and there's a little bit different syntax, so pay attention here, you don't want to forget this. So it's -10, that would be our minimum value on the x-axis. Go 0.01, that's how much it's going to increment by, and then 10, which is going to be our maximum value. Again, we'll put the semicolon and hit enter. So as we can see, our variable is a 1 by 20,001, and that means basically it's going to go from -10 to 10 on the axis, and by increments of 0.001. And we kind of want that smaller because plotting, you want it really accurate, so smaller increments means more accurate. So let's do now plot, and let's say we want to plot cosine of x. So we'll do x comma cosine of x. There we are, and we'll hit enter, and there we have our cosine graph. So basically, we have your x variable, which goes from -10 to 10 as we specified in the range, and then we have our function cosine of x, and that looks right. And you can just add those titles and x labels and so forth if you desire. So we'll close that, and let's just do one more here. So let's do plot x comma, let's say we want to do y equals 3x, so I'm putting that for the y variable in there, and hit enter. And again, there we go, there's our graph, and it's looking good. So now you basically know some plotting in Scilab. So just a few additional resources that are really helpful. You can do help and then a function name, and our function name is plot, and hit enter. And that'll just bring up some basic information about plotting and some examples if you scroll down. We'll just close out of that. And then another thing is this question mark right here. It has some demos and Scilab help and links, which are really useful. So just kind of look into those, and good luck plotting.